Hello and welcome to the HeartWorking Dad podcast. I'm your host, Gabriel Perez, and this is the podcast for Christian fathers looking to do the hard work of heart work. The goal is to provide a foundation of spiritual and practical leadership for you in your family home. And a little bit about myself. I've been with my wife for 19 years. We have 3 kids. We both work full-time jobs and we homeschool our kids. And in addition to that, I'm a certified biblical parenting coach at the National Center of Biblical Parenting Association. This episode, I want to talk about faith. And the journey of faith, trusting God. I think as men, as dads, as husbands, it can be kind of tough sometimes to walk in faith. To say yes to God, to say no to the grind of building our bank accounts, building up businesses and wealth, or trying to climb the corporate ladder, whatever. Sometimes we just get so caught up, and there's just some things where we need to just trust God. We're gonna find maybe it's a health issue, maybe it's the future of schooling for your kids where you don't really know what to do anymore because it's uncertain. I think when we took the faith step to say no to school and homeschool our kids long ago, to me it was really scary and it didn't make sense because I didn't really have issues in the public school system and I didn't think we can provide. I didn't think I made enough to provide to be a single income home and provide for our family. And I never saw the whole light of that. I just knew there was going to be trouble. I'm like, I don't know. But apparently I had enough faith to say yes, and we did it. And guess what? God did provide. And as I look back on that journey, I can say, wow, God totally provided a way for us to homeschool. He provided mentors to teach us about homeschool. And I'm so glad that we did homeschool because of where the school system is at and what's going on in the world today. It was truly a blessing. And the reason I thought about this is, I don't know, I run a lot. And one of the things I like to do when I'm running sometimes and I'm feeling weird is I like to close my eyes and just run. And I'm very fortunate that I have a running path where I live, so I'm not going to run in front of a car or a street, but I can very easily just run into a brick wall. And as I sit there and I practice this sometimes, it's so startling to know the fear that comes in just not seeing. And the fact is I'm actually pretty straight, but I'm just like, I'm going to hit something now, and it's just that there's just this anxiety to open my eyes and to get back on course. And I think, how often is that like our faith journey? Because we're operating on things not seen. Faith is believing in something but not seeing it. And, we have the validity to have faith, to believe in God. But to exercise our faith is hard. And I totally butchered that verse of believing without seeing. But, you get the idea. And so as I'm running, it's so hard to believe I'm on track. It's so hard to believe that everything's going on the right path and that I'm not going to crash. And that's what faith is like sometimes. It's so hard to trust that we're on the right path. We want to know where we're at. We want to know where we're going. We want to see everything. I want to see the steps I'm taking. I want to see how straight I am. I want to see where I'm going. But faith doesn't work like that, does it? Faith is trusting in God. And that is hard. Especially when we're in the fire, especially when we're in the storm and there's so much things that need to line up. There's so many things that need to add up. And it's just an encouragement that even though you may not see it, even though you may not understand what's going on, God has a plan. God is working. God sees it and he's operating. We just have to trust it. And it feels like running blind. it feels like that idea that I just don't know. And so I really just kind of wanted to wrap on that because it stuck out to me. Because I think there are so many times in my life, even in this HeartWorking Dad journey that I've started, where God confirmed something. I remember when God put this on my heart. I was like, God, to be honest, and I was running. I felt it. I just felt it. And I was coming back. I said, God, I'm tired of failing. I really just tired of being discouraged. I'm not going to do this unless you make it obvious to me. And I left it at that because I really was just at a point where I was done. I failed so many times, and we can even go back and say those weren't failures; those were lessons learned. They were, but it doesn't change the fact that I felt like a failure. And as I went home, I just left it there. I didn't even think about it. My wife called me the next day, and she says, "You know, we're in a weird season right now, and I really think that we should really go all in on what we're trying to do. You should go all in with your coaching and your course. I should go all in with my channel, and we should just really invest in ourselves." And it honestly, it blew me away because that was a sign. Because my wife has been very supportive on all the things I do, but the thing is I do a lot of things, and I'm very, what's the word? I just go with it. Impulsive. So yeah, I'm gonna do this. And she doesn't say no. She's like, okay, well, here we go. All right, what do you need? And I'm gonna buy a puppet and do a kids show. I've done a lot of different things, and she's been with me in them. And then she knows when I get angry. She knows when I get upset. She knows when I have unmet expectations. And for her to be like, I think you need to invest in it. That's new. And I had to see God in that moment. And this whole thing has been a journey because I've learned a lot. I've taken a course that really wasn't what they sold me on. And there's moments where I'm like, God, I don't even know why you called me to do this. But then I work with a dad, and you see the change in his heart. You see the change in his family. And God is doing this awesome work in certain dads that I've had the honor of working with. But I would have never seen that because, I don't know. I just have to trust in God's leading, that God has put me on this course. And by faith, I said yes. And obviously, I needed an answer. So you could say there was kind of a lack of faith. But I did say yes. I did walk forward in this journey. And God has been working in so many ways. In so many ways, he's ministered to me. And through this program, I've just been really blessed. But I need to remind myself, because as the journey continues, it gets harder. There's different storms. There's different things that come against me. And you just got to know that this is a journey. Having the faith to say yes to God and just somewhat running blind, but knowing that you're not actually blind, because your heart is focused on God. And so it's not being blind, it's just focusing on God, but not having to know what the next step is. And so the analogy was really to just show the anxiety that can come in and walking in faith. The worry and the fear and how easily it can grip us. Because just, go try running for 5 seconds. It's going to feel like an eternity. And no, don't do it unless you have a safe place to do it. Because I don't want to be responsible. I'm not responsible. Don't say that I told you. I have a safe place. Anyways, just try running 5 seconds. Here we go. If you do run 5 seconds, you just can't help but want to open your eyes. And I think the faith journey can be like that. It can we just want to know. We want to know. And we got to take a deep breath and trust that God is working, that God has a plan, and that God is guiding our steps, just like a light unto our path. It's by step. It doesn't light the whole way so we see the whole journey. It's a light unto the path, step by step. So that is my challenge and encouragement, and the challenge that maybe you shouldn't do if it's unsafe. So you discern that. Anyways, Nacho Libre. That's how I just like to say it all the time. That's the end of this episode. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, you can find me on YouTube. Obviously, you found this on Apple or Spotify podcasts, but really appreciate any support you could do by subscribing, by following, by leaving a rating and review. And with that, I'll catch you on the next episode.